What is meditation? Why should it matter? And how does it work? Meditation is a state of being. It's a state of mind. It's a particular brain frequency. It's a phenomena of being present, which usually starts by grounding into the body, and then becoming aware of a field, of a state of mind, of a state of consciousness. The state of flow is consistent, but where it's focused and how it's done is very different. So as a good introduction to the state of meditation, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi wrote a beautiful book on flow. And meditation is moving into that state of flow. So there's a brain frequency that we can recognize once we've been there for a while, in a pure state of flow, in a pure state of peace and presence. It's difficult to explain because it's a somewhat transcendent state when it's reached. It's a little bit ineffable, hard to put into words. But one can recognize that state of flow when we have experienced it. So it's a brain frequency. And a lot of the state of meditation is around coherence. So you can think of heart, mind, and body in multiple different algorithms kind of doing their own thing. Maybe you're thinking about this person while you're talking with this person. You're walking down the street while you're talking on your phone. So there's a lot of divergence. And in order to have flow, you can think of the power of a rope, where you have all these different threads, and if you divide the threads, and most diabolically, if you move these threads away from one another and pull in all different directions simultaneously, you disintegrate the rope. You unbraid its coherence. And in doing so, the individual threads become 10, 20, 30, 1,000 times more brittle and less resilient, less strong. But also, if you think of a tug of war, if you think of everyone on your team within a tug of war, all pulling in the same direction, and the other team is pulling, some pulling towards you, some pulling to the left, some to the right, some behind, they're scattered. Then the coherent team is going to successfully pull the tug of war in the chosen direction. And this is the power of focus, the power of coherence. So in order to enter a deep inner state of flow, which one can do in a large variety of ways, one has to find, to recognize and locate the different parts within. And then one has to bring them into attunement, into alignment in such a way that the potency of unity, of coherence, of a braided rope is achieved. Now, that coming together has a very clear process. But how do you do it? How do you meditate? How do you enter a state of coherence, alignment, potency, and flow? So one ingredient is intention. Now, the intention is an organizing principle. If your goal is to buy a house, or your goal is to relax, or your goal is to forgive someone, that's an intention. that is going to communicate through constant choices in what you think about, where you focus, how you move, the protocols that you go through in meditation. It's an organizing principle that helps you decide yes or no. If your goal is to forgive someone, for example, and a thought comes up, oh, the sale is about to end at Best Buy, then that doesn't help you to forgive, so that is discarded. And you come back to focus. Another thought comes up, I wonder what my wife is doing. That gets discarded, and you come back to focus. So an intention is the theme, is the core around which a meditation takes place. Now, one can enter that intention non-verbally, as in a kinetic meditation, just focusing, like you're playing soccer, you're focusing on the ball. And you may or may not, set out an intention. My intention is to kick the ball and do this. But if the intention is to win or to play your best, that intention is there, and it is ritually enacted by preparing for practice, by wearing clothes that help you move. Prayer, what we bow to, is measured by the amount of change that we give to the intention. If I intend to run a marathon and I elevate that marathon to a point where I honor that intention, then I stop eating foods that damage my ability to run the marathon. I stop drinking hard alcohol, which interferes with the ability to hydrate and run a best marathon. I invest money in training. I invest time and attention in training. I show up. And in that way, one can recognize, one can evaluate the pattern and say, yeah, that is a committed person to this marathon. There's an honor to the intention. Similarly, I want to, open up to my higher self. I want to evaluate what my best life is. And I'm going to allocate $1,000 a month to that goal. And I'm going to work my ass off to make the money for that $1,000 a month. And I'm going to study to be better at my job so that I can get a raise. And I'm going to eat the food. I'm going to do the things. I'm going to be on time. I'm going to allow for traffic. I'm going to troubleshoot. I'm going to align and focus for this intention. And anyone can look at a person going through that ritual and say, that is a committed motherfucker, and they are going to achieve their goal because they are praying in service to that intention. They are sublimating all forces within their domain in the service of that objective. Now, this is where it becomes, of course, incredibly important to be intelligent, to be wise in the selection of a goal. You can do a tremendous amount of damage by single-mindedly aligning all one's resources to pursue a goal that is empty, hollow, destructive to oneself, or things that if one thought about it a little bit more deeply would be more important. So the choice of such a single-minded focus is incredibly important. And the 80-20 principle, the system of understanding that 20% of one's dreams, 20% of one's aspirations will yield 80% of the results. And sifting through and picking, oh, this one, but not this one, becomes incredibly important in delivering high results. To pray is to spend money, is to spend time, is to spend resources, is to spend attention on an intention, on a goal. If one truly bows to a book, a religious teaching, if you bow to the book to help the poor or to help the needy, how much money each week do you spend helping the poor, if that is the goal? How many hours of all the hours in the week? Because we always pray to our highest deity. And by highest deity, I mean the deity that we serve. I don't mean that watching television is a great deity, but it may be our greatest deity if we spend most of our discretionary time avoiding feelings through television, as an example. So that's what meditation is. It's the phenomena of creating flow by integrating and aligning in such a way that it activates a brain state, in many ways a transcendent state that allows us to do more than we thought we could. Now, this particularly happens when we are in service to something bigger than ourselves. And by in service, I mean investing the time, money, natural resources, preparation, investing by letting go of that which holds us back from a particular goal, to move into that state of flow in stillness, mentally, emotionally, physically, in great activity, is meditation. It is a state of flow. So why do we do it, of course, if you use the rope analogy? If you want to have 20 times the pulling power without breaking, you align with flow. If you want to spend less energy to go further towards a specific intention, you align with the principle of flow. Now, how do you do it? How do you bring all these pieces together? Because there are many ways to meditate. One of the most powerful ways is to take action. Do it now. Do it now. Now, it's useful to get centered and to sift and sort with what is the intention. So if you use the Stephen Covey kind of quadrant in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you have urgency and importance in 2 different columns. You have urgency and importance. And then you have not urgency and not important. So you have the urgency continuum and the importance continuum, which allows you to have things that are not urgent but very important, things that are important and urgent, things that are very urgent and not at all important, and things that are not urgent and not important. And so you have these different categories. And, one thing is to prioritize things that are not urgent and not important, or that are not urgent and are very important, as well as the things that are very important and urgent. Do the urgent, important ones first, and then move on to the not urgent, not important things, but then do them with a sense of urgency. Do it now. Think a thought, do it now. I want this. Go look at the computer and look up what's available. I want to experience this. Open your possibility field. Take a choice. Make a choice. Take action. So the result is greater success with greater ease. The result is a higher state of intelligence. So how can we meditate? We have walking meditation. Because one of the things that is part of this coherence is routine or rhythm. Everything in the universe is rhythm upon rhythm upon rhythm. There's layer upon layer upon layer in a fractal pattern of frequency. And the more you can align into a rhythm, into a routine. So walking is a routine. Driving can be a routine. You can enter a meditative state while driving, a state of flow where you're thinking ideas, being in the shower. The rhythm of the water can create a container with the heat, etc., in which to see something. Sitting in a beautiful space. So you have walking meditation, you have dance. Now in the dance meditation, you're entering an impeccable state where your heart, mind, and body align, respecting other people's patterns and attuning to your own. So there's this same paradox. It's a metaphor for engaging in a business relationship, engaging in a romantic relationship, engaging with your creative idea. You have a creative idea. Do you suffocate it? Do you give it room to develop? Do you allow it to be there? How do you relate to your creative idea? Do you court it? Do you make a nice space for it to come in and be thought about? So you have dance, you have poetry, where you're working with imagery. You're bringing something into being. You're expressing something. You have painting or drawing. And it's about the state, because you can draw purely analytically with no body, mind, heart integration. You just think abstractly, what would so-and-so like? I think it should be this, it should be that. And it's purely dissociative. I'd like to do this to please so-and-so. I wonder if it'll please them. Oh, I'm not sure. Well, let's try it and do this. And there's no meditation. You can also draw a black line. Draw that line and feel it. Feel present in that movement. You can be 100% in the moment, writing a single word, and feeling what that feels like, and then seeing what word wants to come out next, and writing one more word, one more letter. What does the next letter emerge into? And be totally present for that creativity. You've got clay and working with something. You've got reading, getting immersed into a book with an intention, reflecting as you're reading about this, about this. You have writing with an intention. You have doing work, cutting wood, releasing anger, releasing the past, breaking through to cut wood with an intention and a rhythm, 100% in one's body. You've got a meditation. You have breathing meditation, to breathe 100% into this energy field. The intention can be feminine in that of embodying a mental emotional state. It can be feminine. or it can be masculine. And so, what's the system of engagement? You've got yoga, of course, moving through the cycle of the body, stretching each thing, bringing awareness to each point, stretching, holding, and then releasing. Then you have visualizing meditation, where you imagine yourself totally there, and you guide and bring the meditation forward. Then you have guided meditation, where you're totally present to another's voice, and you allow their intention and your intention by picking that event or that that recording to bring that intention. You have music, etc. Meditation, and more importantly, intention, involves both the set and setting. I want this, and so I'm going to go into this room. I'm going to stay at this hotel. I'm going to experience this. There's an intention behind everything that's chosen. The color of the paint, the choice of essential oils, the choice of food. I have an intention. And I'm setting up an ecology, an environment that supports that intention. And this is part of meditation. A conversation can be, when there's a shared intention and a shared rhythm, with two talented people, being together can be a meditation. Cooking, getting lost in the taste, the smells, the complete surrender to an exquisite taste. And these are some of the basic things. You have martial arts. You have athleticism. So one can do that in a state of complete service to excellence, to the goal. Or one can do it scattered. Meditation is the process of bringing alignment and coherence. In Chinese mythology, it would be called qi, or bringing all your life force into one space. And you think of this gesture of prayer. What is it? I have two polarities. I have two sides. I have a light side. I have a dark side. I have a right side. I have a left side. I have a masculine side. I have a feminine side. I have a side that wants this, and I have a side that wants that. I can't serve anything. I'm divided. I'm disintegrated. But I bring the left and the right of my brain. I bring the masculine and feminine. I bring the up and the down together in attuned unity. And I bow, meaning I sublimate my status quo, my identity. This is who I am. I sublimate that to who do I need to become to serve as an integrated, unified human being. Who do I have to become to serve? I let go of what stands in the way. I gather what I need. I ask for help from what is more than myself. I reach for the future and attune every thought, feeling, energy, dollar towards this goal. And the experience is peace, is joy, is energizing, because all of me is here in this meditation, this ritual of coming together. Now, if that happens for you in cooking or running, and you lose that flow when you sit and try and empty your mind, you're not meditating correctly. Go out for a run. If you get it in writing poetry at 6 a.m, but you try and go to the temple or whatever and listen to the irritation of the motorcycle, you're not meditating. Write poetry at 6 a.m. It's about getting that flow and having 1, 2, 3 moments, 10 minutes or more. 10 minutes is enough. With alignment, with integration, so that you know what you feel like when you're in a state of flow.